A voter looks for, one, the level of connection between the candidate and the voters. And when I talk about connectability or connection, it may be on personal attributes, it may be on charisma, it may be on demeanor. That really count, that touch in terms of, or even speech. Possibly I speak very well, I have charisma, and I interact and gel with them very well. Have you seen the antics politicians do towards the election? Oh, we mop the floor with the voter. The humility aspect of a human being comes out so alive. Remember what Igathe was doing when he was campaigning?
I was about to reference.
He was,
That's the
he
first
was,
thought
he
that
was
came to mind.
actually trying to manufacture and create it within a short time.
Yeah.
So that connection, according to my experience, is significant. Number two, selling hope. And hope is so important because the voter, if 5 candidates show up and speak to a voter, I can confirm to you 4 out of 5 will have similar agenda, but spoken differently, but same agenda, because the issues needed to be done are straightforward. If you want to be an MP, we know about CDF. We know what CDF does. If you're running for county seat, if it's women rep position, we know what a woman rep can do, a senator can do, a governor can do. So the marking scheme for tasks to be done is not in question. But how you sell it and how you package the message and make it hopeful enough and whatever the believability of your selling of that hope makes now the difference. So that the voter comes and says, Trevor is more likely to do. The way he says it, the way he's sold to us, we can trust his words. Lastly, circumstance, it is very circumstantial. And that's why politics is very dynamic. Something can change. Let me explain. Maybe the party, you're in the right political party.
Yeah.
If there is heterogeneous society where there's more than one ethnic group or the demographic difference, people may have those considerations. Where it becomes difficult is where there's homogeneity. You come to a community that is one. Like, let me use, for example, the Somali. They are one community, but they break it down to clans.
Right.
So circumstances can speak to identity, can speak to the party, can equally speak to what happens between even sympathy. I know of a case of an aspirant, and this is a very interesting one. An aspirant lost the wife 2 weeks to the election, and it was very emotional. And the voters decided the best way to say sorry is to vote for him. That is circumstantial. Was it planned?
No.
None at all. That is the dynamism of politics. And that is why I remember someone, there was I don't know if it was true, it was shared from Nyeri, I think so, where a perceived candidate lost and say the intellectual gap between himself and the voter was so wide, so there was no meeting of the mind. So you know, it is bordering on insult, but at the same time, it's like, I've accepted. Our mindsets are far apart. This person forgets that there are a whole host of consideration the voters go through. And one thing I can tell you, we always underestimate the intelligence of the voters, right to the rural communities. We take them for granted. You may say this voter hasn't gone to school, but something interesting about voters, they will listen to you, Trevor. They will welcome you. Victoria will come, same treatment. In fact, when Wahiga comes, better treatment. And from that, you think now who among us was received perfectly. You may even come back to try outdo what Wahiga did. But you forget, after the drama, after the events, they retreat, especially those last 2 days to the election. You know, this quiet lull after the closure of campaign period. That is now where I normally hear the night of the long knives are now here. Meaning, it's now decision time. They retreat quietly and talk and say, maybe this guy. Yeah. Boom, it happens.
Okay.
It's interesting. I'm trying to kind of decipher campaigning. Is it an art or a science?
Both an art and a science.
Okay.
Yes.
It's both.
And a bit of good fortune, luck,
Circumstances.
blessings, depending on how you look at it.
That is why, have you seen politicians, and I've said, just observe us towards the election. We become more religious, we become more humble, and importantly, even if you're not charismatic, you will have to go learn on how you have to be charismatic.
Yeah.
You have to have that warm affection and have ability to connect with the voters.
Yeah, but Jovin also was talking about the values of the people generally. This is a country where research showed that more than 70% of the youth do not care how you make your money as long as you have it. They're willing to make money by hook or crook. Is it possible to reverse this? And I'd also like to hear what Titus thinks on this issue. Is it possible to reverse and see the leaders who are elected through an integrity lens from the people rather than all these other considerations we're talking about?
Now, it is very possible. There is nothing that is cast on stone, and you can say that it's not possible. But it's going to take some time before we flip the coin. Reasons why I'm saying this is because most of the youths actually cherish when they see people with money. They don't care how you've made that money. So until such a time when we will make it possible for any young person to, first of all, afford employment, afford basic education without struggling, and after attaining their credentials, after completing school, there are opportunities available for them so that they can come to a point where they appreciate that once you have gone through the process of schooling and you have your credentials, you are able to secure an employment, you are able to secure an opportunity. So, such that now we make that sense of entitlement or sense of belonging that there is a guarantee once I go through the process of schooling, I'm able to secure an opportunity. But until we get to that point, it's going to be very difficult to change the matrix. Because for now, the youth want quick fix solutions, such that I don't care how you make your money, so long as I have it. So until we get to a point where we are providing employment opportunities for the young people, we are creating something that is beneficial to them at that point when they really need it, it's going to take some bit of time. So basically that's my observation when it comes to this issue.
Jovin?
I think while I agree with Titus on the prescription is providing for either providing employment for the youth, I think we need to do a lot of soul searching as a society and decide for ourselves what is really good for us. Trevor, yes, it is true. Most of the researches that we do, we ask what attributes do you look for in a leader? Why do you vote for someone? And we pose an array of attributes. Do you look for somebody who value integrity, or you're looking for someone who is street smart? And you find that people would consider that they don't care. If you are street smart, they would consider you more than someone who has a lot of integrity. And why? Because they look at those that are street smart, making a lot of money. We are driven by the acquisition. What can I acquire in terms of the physical wealth that every other person, and you see, I like what SRC has done.
Yeah.
Because the drivers to serve or the drivers to occupy the elective posts has never been that I want to go and serve as Jovin.
Right.
I want to go and amass wealth because it's an avenue. And I believe it's going to be a big battle as the new, the MPs and whatever elects are going to be sworn in.
Yeah.
The first thing, Trevor, you will not be surprised that they would want to fight SRC and even move to the court.
Yeah.
They want those things, the peaks. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, if at all he gets it again, he'll have a rough time for him to be considered again in Nandi County. He will have to cede ground and say that we are going to see that we reintroduce these sitting allowances and all this manner of peaks that comes with the office. Because that has been the most drive. People are running because they know if an MCA can build some big mall somewhere there, then that's an avenue to make money and not to serve. So that's why I want to see, while thanking SRC for having reduced those things, to at least a manageable level so that also we manage our wage as a country. There's no point of borrowing to pay people saying that we elect me, I'm going to serve you.
Yeah.
Right.
They're serving themselves.
But
Well,
also
yeah.
CDF was made unconstitutional. So
Yes, it is.
Joshua, is that going to be part of the solutions, making sure that the perks that come with these positions
I've completely-
are trimmed? Because sometimes